Hey, what's up guys? I am Jerome from the Bonsai Supply and welcome to another episode. So in this week's episode, we are going to be covering another species in detail, which is Adenium. So we are going to be covering things such as what time of the year should I repot my Adenium? What type of soil should I use? Is it okay for me to trim it any time of the year? How often should I water it? What type of fertilizer should I use? How do I propagate it? And so much more. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, so this is very exciting for me to do this week's episode about Adeniums because as you know, if you have been following us for a while, you know that I absolutely love to work with Adeniums of all kinds. I used to have a lot of them. Probably I had about 50 at some point, and I just love them. I mean, what's not to love? You have this beautiful, humongous codex, then you have these beautiful variety of flowers, and it also continues to flower throughout the year. Now, the most important thing to know is that Adenium is the scientific name, and Desert Rose is the common name. Now, it is a genus of flowering deciduous and as well evergreen succulents. It is native to Africa and also the Arabian Peninsula. Now, there are 6 main species of Adenium and a ton of subspecies. Now, for bonsai, we use the 2 main species, which are obesum as well as arabicum. Now, the difference between the two, it's actually quite difficult to separate the two. But to give you an idea, the arabicum creates a squatty, fat codex, and the leaves appear to be a little thicker and also have more of a waxier feel to it. Whereas on the other side, the obesum has also still a big codex, but it can be bigger. It doesn't have to be as squatty. The leaves generally are a little bit smaller, and the flowers are on the smaller side as well. Now, the most important thing to know about Adeniums in general is that they are very, very poisonous. So we do recommend that you use gloves whenever you handle an Adenium, whenever you touch the codex or you trim it. And we also recommend that you disinfect the tools that you use. So just use a Clorox disinfecting wipe before you trim it and after you are done working on your Adeniums. Also keep them away from children and as well pets, of course. Now, starting off with the best features, I would have to say that obviously the trunk, because it's so unique. Those fat codexes, they're so bulbous. They are so interesting. They have so much character. There's no 2 that are alike. They all are different from each other. That's very, very cool and exciting to me. Now, you can have them very small and have a very interesting trunk, or you can have them extremely big and have a very interesting trunk. So you can have them in all shapes and all sizes. And then, of course, the flower variations. I mean, if I would have to guess, there's got to be more than 30 different colors, of Adeniums. So there's the regular pink one that you see a lot of times, or the red one. But then there's also some that are like white and red or white and pink, and they have stripes on the flowers or just on the outer rim of the flower. Then there's Adeniums that have green flowers, purple flowers, black flowers. One of my favorite ones that I actually currently have in my collection has these deep purple flowers. It's not that the tree itself is nothing special really just yet, because it's growing, but the flowers are absolutely stunning. Another thing that I really like about the Adeniums is that they are so forgiving. If you forget to water them for, like, let's say a month, so a really, really long time, where any other tree would basically die except for like a Portulacaria after the dwarf jade, the Desert Rose, all it does is the leaves will turn yellow, it will drop the leaves, and then when you come back home or you remember, oh, shoot, I need to water my trees, you water it and the leaves will come right back. So it's so forgiving. You can make so many mistakes. So if you are a beginner in bonsai and you have not had much luck yet with bonsai, I recommend that you get a Desert Rose because, like I said, it's so forgiving, easy to grow, and it is so cool. All right, so next up we're going to be talking about the seasonal work, and we're going to be talking about things such as the timing of the repotting as well as the overwintering care. And we're going to start off in the summer because that's when we do the most amount of work to our desert rose because it is a tropical tree. So in the middle of the summer, we can go ahead and do everything at the same time. We can repot, we can prune, we can also graft, we can do everything at the same time. The most important thing to note though is that the temperatures have to be above 70 degrees Fahrenheit, and also before you do any type of repotting, trimming or propagating, make sure that you slow down the sap flow. And the way that you do that is by backing off the watering about 2 weeks prior to doing any of those type of works. So very simple, desert rose starts to grow, now it's above 70 degrees Fahrenheit, dead in the summer, probably it's going to be around 80 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit. I back off the watering, wait until the leaves turn yellow and fall. That is the indicator for me to go ahead and safely trim, style, do any type of grafting, and also repot. Now, when you repot your desert rose, you can put it right back out into full sun, but make sure that you do not water it right away after repotting. The same goes for trimming. Give it about 1 to 2 weeks just so that the cut surfaces can dry up before you give it its first watering. Then going into the fall, some desert roses are deciduous, some are evergreen. So the deciduous ones will start to lose the leaves, where the evergreens will keep them throughout the winter time. And then we want to make sure that in the late fall, once the desert roses start to slow down in terms of growth, we also want to slow down with the watering and then protect them when the temperatures drop below 50 degrees Fahrenheit. You can either do that in a room of your house that has bright sunny windows. You might need to have grow light if you have them in the garage and don't have any natural light, or a greenhouse would always be best. Then in your overwintering area, you want to make sure that the temperature stays above 50 degrees Fahrenheit and that you have a humidity of at least 50%, and you want to have some sort of oscillating fan in the room that continues to move the air throughout. And to be honest with you, I actually don't water my desert roses at all in the winter time. When the temperatures are so low, I just back off, leave them alone, and let them do whatever they do. I might do a little bit of wiring, but nothing other than that. I just leave them alone. In the spring, they are very temperature sensitive, so when it starts to warm up, they start to grow. Once I see new growth emerge, that's when I start to give it its first watering, and then either move it outside if it is above 50 degrees Fahrenheit, or just keep them protected. But it's very important that you keep them above 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, the propagation is probably the most easiest on a desert rose. You can either propagate it by seed or by cutting. And it is very simple if you do it by cutting. So you can take any size cutting, chop it off, keep that cutting and just lay it in the shade somewhere and let that cut surface dry up completely. If you pot it while it is still wet, you can do it if you can control that you do not water it for at least 2 weeks, because if you have that big cut surface and you pot it and you start to water, you will introduce rot right away. So what I do a lot of times is I keep the cut section, the cuttings for instance, in the shade for a week or two until that cut surface is dried up, then plant it, and then go ahead and give it its first watering. But I can also control myself and kind of remember, oh, I just potted this one. Don't water it for about 1 to 2 weeks. So then you can go ahead and pot it in your pot and just back off the watering completely. You have to make sure that you don't water it. Now, in terms of the seeds, the fresh seeds propagate much easier than if you order like dry seeds online. So if you have a desert rose that grows a seed pod, harvest a seed pod, and then propagate that. Now, in terms of the timing, since it is a tropical tree, you want to sow those seeds in the summertime. So next up in the care and maintenance, we're going to be talking about topics such as the watering, fertilizing, as well as pest and disease. Now, starting off with the watering, So it is very simple, and the way that you water a desert rose, just keep this in mind. If the desert rose has no leaves, you either don't water at all or you water about once a week, depending on the time of the year. In the winter, you don't have to water, but if you have no leaves because you just did a summer defoliation, you did some pruning or some repotting, then you want to water once a week. Now, once you start to see new growth starting to push out and starting to emerge, I'm going to go ahead and still give it a deep watering once a week, but then I give it an additional splash of water like every 3 days. And then once I see that the tree really starts to pick up and grow and starts to put out flowers, that's when I'm going to do a once a week deep watering, but then I'm still going to give it every day a little bit of a splash of water. Because when a desert rose actively grows, puts out a lot of growth, a lot of flowers, it needs more water to keep the engine running to produce more flowers, more leaves, more growth. So keep that in mind. Once the flower cycle is over, all the flowers have fallen off, then I go back to giving it a splash every 3 days. Now once we reach the fall, leaves start to fall off, then I back off again, and then I'm just going to water slightly once a week, or I'm going to back off completely. So it takes a little bit of time to get this right, but it's quite simple. If you get yellow leaves, that usually means that you don't water enough. And if you get yellow leaves with black spots on them, that means that you're watering too much. So, so it is a little bit difficult, like I said, challenging, but you're going to get the hang of it. And like I said, they're very forgiving, so I'm not worried at all. You got this. Now, in terms of fertilizing, you have two options. You can either use our 18410, which is a chemical high firepower, high nitrogen fertilizer, which gives it a lot of growth, and that is what we recommend you use for all of your desert roses. Now, however, if you are an organic lover, we still have an option for you, which is our organic fertilizer. It's an 835. You could still use that, but just on the flip side, you don't get as much growth. So like I said, we recommend and we use the 18410 high nitrogen. And so we actually fertilize throughout the entire year. We fertilize every 30 days, always on the first of the month, and we give it about 2 to 3 times the amount of the recommended dosage on the side of the box. So if it says use 1 teaspoon for every 4 inches, use 3 teaspoons for every 4 inches. They love a lot of nitrogen. And even when they don't grow, they can still absorb and save the nitrogen and the fertilizer. And then once they start to grow again, they will push out so much more growth. And that is exactly how you can achieve a humongous codex by just continue to fertilize throughout the year. No matter what, it will absorb and store that energy, and it will start to put on weight like that. Now, in terms of pests and disease, they do get a few, such as the aphids, scale, as well as mealybugs, and of course, root rot, which is probably the most common one. Now, the root rot you can prevent by using a good bonsai soil. We use our all-purpose bonsai soil mixture, which is a mixture of pumice, lava, calcine, clay, and pine bark. That will be perfect to use, and you can prevent getting root rot like that. Very easy. However, the other three, the aphids, the scale, and the mealybugs, you can prevent that by preventative spraying. So like I say in all of these species videos, I use 2 different chemical sprays, and I rotate back and forth between them. I spray them every single month. One month I spray this one chemical, the next month this one, and I go back and forth like this just to prevent that I get any infestation. Once you have an insect infestation, it's so difficult to get rid of it, and it sets the bonsai training back at least like 3 to 4 months, where you could be putting on so much more growth. That's why spray all of your trees as a preventative care, and you will never have to deal with any insect infestations. So this is already it for today, and I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any more questions or comments, you can leave them down in the comment section. And while you're there, also give us a like. Now, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will catch you guys next time.